Writing equations and determining solutions for problems involving area of parallelograms. Use the ruler provided to measure the dimensions of the rectangle shown to the nearest half centimeter. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to look and say, all right, I'm going to label this base and height. All right, and your height is always going to be perpendicular to the base. And so it's going to create that right angle right there, the right angle. So here's my height and this is my base. All right, you could also take that and say, my height also, if you cut it apart and you drew a line right here, it would also be the same height. So it doesn't really matter. All right, so your height is perpendicular with the right angle and your base. All right, so when I measured it with my centimeters ruler, I had that my base is equal to 7 centimeters and my height is equal to 2.5 centimeters. Now, it's possible that when you copied this, it might measure differently, so your actual numbers might look a little different, and so we're going to have a range of numbers. All right, so when I multiply 2.5 or 2 and 5/10 times 7, I'm going to get 17.5 or 17.5 centimeters squared, because my area is equal to base times height. So your area is going to be the same as a rectangle. All right, so anywhere, your answers, depending on how it's printed, answers can be anywhere between 17.5 centimeters squared and 22.5 centimeters squared. It's just going to depend on what the ruler reads. All right, so let's look at number 2. Use the parallelogram shown to determine the equations for the area A, the base, B, and the height, H. Okay, so if you look at the picture on the left, it's going to tell me what it looks like. And the reason is the reason why the area formula for a rectangle is exactly the same thing as a parallelogram is because if I drew I got a pair of scissors and I cut right here on my line, right here, the height, and I took this piece off, this whole entire piece off right here, and I taped it over here, it would form a rectangle. So it would go just like this. And that's how you get the area formula. It's going to be the same as doing base times height. All right. So when we're given the base, we're going to have base equals area divided by height. We're trying to find the base. And then the last one is we're trying to find the height. So that one is going to be area divided by the base. All right, let's look at number 3. Sunny has a group of parallelogram shapes. The table shows the relationship between A, the area of each parallelogram in square inches, and X, the height of each parallelogram in inches. All right, so if I had a picture and it's giving me the height, and I'm also given the total area, so I know exactly what all of it's going to be equal to, but I don't know what my base is. So I'm trying to figure out what my base is, all right? So we're going to look for that relationship here again. Okay, how do I go from 8 to 2, 16 to 4, 28 to 7, 44 to 11? I'm dividing by 4. Or if you look at it the other way and you go from 11 to 44, 7 to 28, 4 to 16, you're multiplying by 4. All right, so it can go either way, times 4 or dividing by 4. All right, so if we're looking at this, it says write an equation to represent the relationship between A and X for the parallelogram. All right, so we want this, remember it's going to be base times height. So this is going to be my base. This is going to be my height. All right, and we're trying to find the area. So the one thing that we are given is we're given times 4. 4 times x in this case, because x represents my height. You could also use the variable of h, but since we're using x here, we're going to keep it consistent. All right, so look at the next one. It says x. We're trying to find x, so how do we find the x value? We're going to do area divided by the base. So area divided by my base is already given, it's 4, is going to be equal to x, or equal to my height. Now, what would that look like? Let's say we drew a picture of each one. We had a whole bunch of parallelograms. Sorry, my drawings are terrible. Okay, we have a little bit bigger one. And we have a giant one. And we have H here, and let's say the H is over here. All right, it doesn't really matter. So we know that my area, just given the data here, is 8, and my height is 2. How do we figure that out? We did 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. The next one we had, let's just do 28. 28 equals my area. My height is 7. How do we figure it out? 28 divided by 7 gives me 4. And the last one, we'll use 44. Area equals 44. My height is 11 inches. How would we find my base? We would say 44 divided by 11 is equal to 4. Notice that 4 is your common number here, your common factor. So that is going to be what you multiply 4 times your height to get your area. All right? And that's how you do it. You got this. Have a great day.